Welcome to the Hall Hotline. Honest conversations on faith, family, work, and the challenges that shape us. Because just as iron sharpens iron, life sharpens us. Stand firm. Answer the call. Live with purpose.
Well, thank you for tuning in today. Today is part 3 of a special interview we had with Nick Powell. If you missed the first 2 episodes, please go back and check them out on Monday and Tuesday, or watch the full video online on YouTube now. Enjoy.
We've talked about a lot of good stuff: motorcycles, tattoos, health, bodybuilding, your wife. Now, what we talked about earlier, a little teaser. Now we'll transition into the meat and potatoes here. I want to talk about faith. I want to talk about your faith journey. Now, when you were a kid, did you grow up in a faith-filled household? And yes or no? And how did that, as you look back now as an adult, how did maybe that prepare you or not prepare you? Just talk about your own faith journey for a minute for us.
The only thing I can remember from my childhood when it comes to faith is when I was very young, my mom used to tuck us in at night. And I remember the prayer. She used to give us a prayer, now I lay me down to sleep prayer as kids. I don't remember much of it, but that's all I remember as a childhood. There was never church. There was never a religion that was forced. I did go to church one time with a young childhood friend and his dad one time, but I didn't know anything about it. But the only thing I remember in my childhood was that little prayer.
Yeah?
Yeah, that's it.
Well, it's a better memory than none, though, right?
I mean, it's surprising to me that has stayed with me so long, but
The things we carry, right?
there was no religion, no faith, no church, Christianity. There was nothing growing up as a child that was pushed onto me, spoken to me. The household wasn't driven that way.
Interesting. So, when did you, and I know you said it was recently, but not too recent, when did you change your faith journey and actually get on a journey of faith? And what was the spark?
I would say towards about the time of COVID, I kind of woke up to the reality of the world, not in faith, but just the waking up to certain things that you never really would see unless you were awake. And I started thinking, like, there's got to be something. I don't know what it is. There's got to be something out there. My brain just was harping on, what is this life? Like, is this it? And I remember not long before I met my wife, I'd be laying in bed at night and I would just pray. I didn't have anybody tell me to. I didn't know why. I would just ask the thing up there for answers. And that's kind of where I just got into faith, essentially. Was just laying in bed at night, not really having direction, not having a path or a goal or knowing anything about faith whatsoever, but figured, why not give it a shot and ask the great ball in the sky for something, right? And
Yeah.
see if it happens.
Yeah.
That's kind of like where it started.
One of two things. The answer is going to be yes, or the answer is going to be no, right?
Right.
So might as well ask the question. So I was going to ask, who has had the biggest spiritual influence on your life and coming to faith, but it sounds like it was more of the time of everything going on and questioning everything in the world. But since then, since you've come 5, 6, 7 years now and been going through that, I would ask, who has had the biggest impact now? So, and I don't know if it's, a specific person or a church or a situation, but what would you say are your spiritual influences at this point?
Initially, I can say, obviously, my wife. When we met, we didn't really talk about faith initially. On the profiles, we said Christian, of course.
Yeah.
But there was a moment in time when I reflected on asking God for him to bring me the right woman and not even realizing that he did. And then one day I opened up to my wife and asked to pray at the table. And then me and her kind of just sat there and talked about our faith. And we were, to my surprise, we were complete in agreement on everything.
Nice.
On spiritually,
being perfectly
faith,
spiritually aligned.
spiritually aligned
so
to the
good.
T. And
So good.
which for I don't know what that means to most people. What it means to me is just our our moral compass and faith was exactly the same.
You both had the same true north.
Yes.
That's
And
awesome.
ever since then, without even realizing it, she has been my biggest faith supporter she doesn't even have to do anything. Like there's no word, like she tells me all the time, she pushes me, she supports me in that, but she doesn't have to. And she's still my absolute biggest supporter when it comes to my walk with Christ.
That's awesome. So
And you guys, don't get me wrong. I'm in a fantastic men's group with yourself and Nick and all the guys. That has been a very huge blessing in my life for sure.
Oh, 100%. I mean, y'all on the podcast here have heard me talk about the men's group almost probably every episode, if not weekly, but you need to surround yourself with mat carriers.
Mhm.
And for those who haven't heard that term before, it references in the Bible. Jesus was teaching. He was actually at Peter's house, one of his most famous apostles or disciples that you would say. And they actually there were 4 guys, 3 or 4, I believe, that wanted to help their buddy, just help their bro out to get to Jesus to heal him. Now he couldn't walk. He was paralyzed. So they literally put him on a mat and carried him onto Peter's roof, broke a hole in Peter's roof, and lowered him down to Jesus for Jesus to heal him.
Yep.
Those are your mat carriers. That's what we're referencing. And for everybody out there, everyone's going through something in life. No matter what it is, no matter what your age are, you're going through this. You need to surround yourself with mat carriers. You need to have those dudes, if you're a lady, have your friends that you can talk to that are going to help you when you need it, but that are going to hold you accountable too. So a lot of people call them accountability partners. That's the same thing to me. They need to hold your feet to the fire and hold you accountable when you're messing up. And they need to be there to support you and pick you back up.
Absolutely.
So with that in mind, one of the questions I had for you, and obviously we just talked about Jasmine and we talked about the group, but one of the things that we've talked about before, and I got it from an old church that I went to many years ago, actually where Courtney and I were both baptized as adults, Discovery Church in South Orlando. The pastor's not there anymore, different guy now, but something like we were talking about earlier, what sticks with you, right? You remember the prayer that your mom would pray in the evenings for you. So this picture where he draws a series of hills and you've got different people at different places on different hills. So what he's using that analogy for is you're going to be walking up hills, walking up mountains, going through battles. Some are bigger, some are smaller throughout your life. There's going to be a rock climber that's already gone on that path before you, and he's already higher on that mountain. That guy needs to pull you up. He's the guy putting the chains in the rock and the rope and pulling you, right? Then there's going to be somebody that's on a journey like yours that's not as far along as you are. You've got to be pulling them behind you. So you're constantly doing this pull and push and grabbing them and bringing them up and grabbing him and having him help you. So with that in mind, is there anybody that has been maybe a faith mentor to you that you've leaned on like that? Or is there anybody that you're mentoring that really is growing that you're helping out? And, what are your thoughts been on that experience?
Yeah, so I'm going to immediately turn to my brother, my older brother. He actually kind of saved me in a sense when my very first time as an adult going to church. When he got out of the military, he became a we'll call it a lead pastor below the main pastor at his church in Jacksonville at one point in time. Anything I need right now, I will immediately turn to my brother, and he is that guy that's pulling me up because he's like you. He's very well versed in the word. And
well, I don't think I'm as well versed as your pastor, who's a brother. Your brother is a pastor, so you give me a little more credit than that. But no, I appreciate it. But
just godly counsel. I know no matter what, even though he's my brother, I will get unbiased godly counsel from him, and he is constantly pulling.
Nice. Now, is your brother as big as you? Is he smaller than you?
A
little smaller. He's not going to say it.
I'll say this. You would never know, but when we both have a beard, he's a cop now, so I don't know if he still has his beard, but we look like twins.
Oh, yeah?
We're the same size-ish. He's a little bit less muscular, I'll say, but, he's family man. He's got kids, and, he's doing the dad life, so.
So you're the younger brother. He's the older brother. Who wins in a fight?
Oh, I'm taking him all day. And I hope he hears it.
All right. What's your brother's name?
Mike.
Mike, you heard that. Shout out. We're going to get a little octagon and we're going to see what happens.
And he'll argue all day.
So speaking of fighting and wrestling, one of my questions I have is, have you wrestled? See what I did there?
Mm-hmm.
Have you wrestled with doubt in your faith along your faith journey? And what have you done to ease and quench your soul? What would you say to that?
Oh, absolutely. Good and well, I battle every single day with this journey, with this walk of faith. Being a Christian is hard. I love it and I wouldn't trade it for the world, but being a true biblical man living for God is the most difficult thing I've ever done worse than bodybuilding. It challenges you day in and day out to do that. And I mean, I've been beaten.
Worse than bodybuilding. Woo!
I've been beaten and battered day in and day out, but doing our groups, constantly turning back to the word, having you guys to hold accountability, to listen as a man, like John said earlier, to listen.
What'd you say?
To listen.
Oh, okay. Go ahead.
Yeah. To have somebody that holds you accountable, just that in itself, as a biblical man, you got to swallow that pride. We need other men in this life. You can't go through alone. And you know what? You can ask some of the toughest Navy SEALs on this planet. They had a team. Jesus had a team.
That's true.
So if you're going to walk through this life thinking that you can do it on your own, it's not going to happen. So when I hit those lows, I turn to you guys 100%. I turn to my group. I turn to God, obviously, but I turn to you guys. I turn to my wife. I need a team, and I'm battle those lows day in and day out.
That's true. When you were talking about it being hard, I that I have an insane movie quote recall memory.
Oh yeah.
That's just one of the gifts that I have that I haven't figured out what it's for, but it's a gift I have.
It's there.
So one of my favorite movie quotes by Tom Hanks comes from a movie called A League of Their Own.
Yep.
Now you're 10 years younger than me, so I don't know if
I
you've
know it
seen
very
that
well.
movie. Okay.
I know it.
So and I'm not talking about the scene where he pees for like 7 minutes and has a world record. No. Different scene. He's talking to, I think, Gina Davis or the other girl, Lori Petty, I think is her name. And he's talking to them and they're complaining about, in the movie, they're playing women's softball. It's set during the World Wars. The men are all, being called to duty and the women are at home and they start a softball league. I think it's based on a true story.
Mm-hmm.
And one of them is talking about how hard it is and just complaining about it being hard. And he said, it's supposed to be hard. If it wasn't hard, everybody would do it. It's the hard that makes it great.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that applies to so many different areas of life, and definitely in your walk with Christ, which the irony is it's the easiest thing you can do.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
But then it's the hardest thing you'll ever have to do, right? So you can have a moment of full surrender, of full realization, and you can say, that's it, Christ, I'm yours. I'm all in. I believe in you. I'm going to get baptized. That's the easy part. It's the walking it day in and day out. That's the hard part. I mean, there were 12 apostles and then obviously Saul and different people that then discipled across the entire world, right, at that time. And they had to endure each one of them was brutally murdered, right? One of them was crucified upside down. Each of these people, to spread Christianity and to spread the name of Jesus, suffered immensely. And we talk about our modern struggles and how hard it is. And I think about those original 12 and then the 72 and then the rest. And I think of that and I go, nothing I'm going through is going to end me up upside down on a cross. I hope not.
I would hope not.
Yeah. I hope not.
Yeah, these days you never know.
You live in South Africa right now. That might be a different answer, right? But no. So I think about that, and not to make one person's struggle any trivial compared to another person's struggle, because we each have our own crosses to bear in that regards. But it's not supposed to be easy. Even Jesus talks about division. He said, I didn't come here to create the division, but because I came, division's going to follow, right? And he came to save the world, but it creates this level of hardship because of the sins of the world and because of what everybody else is going through. So it's always a very interesting paradox to me that the easiest decision you can make becomes the hardest decision that you're going to ever make. Right. So anyway, so we talked about men's group and brotherhood and why the Christian community is so important. But for somebody at home that maybe is struggling, maybe they're new to their faith or they've been faithful for a while, but they're struggling now, how has joining a group and having people hold you accountable, how has that really changed your life?
Well, I'm going to quote Daniel for a sec. He said, Daniel in our group.
Dan's a good dude. He's a very wise counsel for sure.
Absolutely. He said, it's all about being in alignment with God. And sometimes, unless you really break down that statement, it's just being on a straight path, being on a godly path, and your focus should be God. When you aren't around good men, Christian men that are keeping you on a straight path, you're gonna steer and you're gonna veer. And if you surround yourself with those friends that are, they're out doing things they shouldn't be doing, drinking, partying, whatever doesn't align with God's purpose, you're going to veer off that path naturally. It's like energy. You're going to gravitate to it. So having the men's group, not knowing that you have that, you veer, but knowing that you can go to a men's group, have that accountability, have you guys, is going to keep you in alignment with the purpose. It's just naturally going to be better.
The alignment, that's such a great analogy when he said that. I love that one. That's for sure. So shout out to Dan. If you guys have Apple phones, I think it's on the App Store or the bookstore, or I don't know, wherever you get digital books. But Dan actually recently wrote and published, and it's free for download right now. It's called The Tree, right? So check that out on the Apple Store or wherever you get your digital books. But it's such a great metaphor, and he paints an awesome picture talking about your root system. And just, the men's group, we all are there. It starts with a seed, right? So, and I'm not going to spoil the book for you. Go ahead and read it. But it's free, so I'm not taking money out of his pocket. So you have this little seed in your hand, and it's going to turn into this huge oak tree. But you got to plant it. You got to water the soil. You got to feed it. You got to put it in the right soil. I mean, there's a parable they talk about in the Bible in Matthew and a couple other places. And it's the parable of the sower and of the fallen seed. And it falls into rocky grounds, or it falls into great soil, or it grows up with thorns around it. And that's really what surrounding yourself with the right people that are going to help nourish, help grow, strengthen your roots, and then you're unshakable. We talked about, obviously in Florida, we're hurricane season now, and what's the tree that's left standing after the hurricane? It's the one with the biggest, strongest roots, right?
Yep, exactly.
So, we're all going to face hurricanes in life. That's inevitable. One of our favorite quotes, originally a Buddhist quote, but gets used a lot by pastors and everybody, I think, nowadays. Pain is inevitable. That hurricane's going to come. We're in hurricane season. There's going to be one that comes. Might not be this year, might not be next year, but it's going to come. Pain is inevitable. Suffering is optional. If you have a strongly rooted system and your foundation is built on that, trim those branches that hang down in the dark spots, trim those branches up, prune the branches. That's the iron sharpening iron of fellowship with other people. It does not matter what hurricane's going to come. It might blow you over a little bit, but you're never going to fall.
You might be shaken. Clean the tree up.
It's going to clean it up. It's going to get rid of those dead branches, get rid of those bad branches for sure.
Yep.
So, little shout out. His last name, Meija, M-I-E, I don't remember. Dan, sorry about that. I don't remember how to spell your last name, but check him out on the App Store.
Yeah, John's taking the heat on that one.
I am. I know you didn't jump in and correct me, though.
No, I'm not. I'm just here to do an interview.
He's just here to do the interview. So, last thing I want to kind of talk about here is, well, two things really. How to be a Christian man and what you feel, how to identify your purpose and calling. And those two kind of go together, kind of a little different. But so we've talked a lot, obviously, with your brother pastoring, and you and I have both talked about going into some sort of ministry. That's what this podcast is, my version of the ministry, right?
Right.
So how do you know when you are fulfilling your life's calling, and how do you be a man in doing that as a Christian? So whatever you want to unpack first.
I can answer let's say, how do you become a Christian man? What does it mean to become a Christian man? And I think it just starts with surrender, essentially. We as men are very controlling without even realizing it. We're very prideful. We have a big ego. That's just natural for us. I think it's in our DNA, you got to surrender. You got to give up that pride, get rid of that ego, and remember that you're not all that big and bad that you think you are, that God is up top and he's the one that's in charge. Every decision should not be your decision. It should be his decision first and foremost. You should always turn to God first, and until you surrender and swallow that pride and ego, that won't happen.
Check the ego at the door.
Yeah. 100%.
Lesson number 1. Even for a big alpha dude, big bodybuilder, tattoos, motorcycles, like that's the best lesson right there, man. Leave all that at the door.
Yep.
Now we're going to be talking about fully surrendering later in the week here. So that's one of our episodes. So make sure you guys listen to that. Check it out on Friday episode. But so being a Christian man, now let's talk about God's calling.
Yeah.
So a lot of people, I think myself included, struggle with the day-to-day. And, we want to be on the right path. We don't know if we're on the right path. Is what I'm doing what God's called me to do? Am I glorifying him in what I do, including where I work? So, that's something I know that we've both talked about, and making sure that you are first doing everything you can at the work that you have and being a good steward for that work and trying to glorify God in that work. So where you work, he happens to work at a company that was named after me. So he works at a company here in town, a site development, commercial project estimating company. And so I know, one of the things you like to do with the company is the hangman puzzles and things like that.
Yeah. To note on stewarding and purpose, I spent a lot of time wasted actually trying to find my purpose instead of fulfilling my purpose.
Ooh, that's deep. That one's deep right there.
I already had the purpose, and
are we wasting our time trying to find our purpose rather than fulfilling our purpose?
Yeah,
man, that one's deep.
And
I like that. Someone write that down.
And I also whether I saw it or came up with it, I won't know who's going to take the glory on that one.
We'll give it to you.
Was God won't give you a purpose unless you give him a reason to have one.
Ooh, I like that.
So if you're not walking in faith, if you don't give him a reason to use you, he won't. Essentially, that's what I like to believe.
Wow, I like that.
But I spent a lot of time trying to find a purpose instead of fulfilling a purpose until I realized that God already gave me the gifts that I have. It's up to me to use those gifts. And I knew I had them. Like I'm going to give John a little hype here. He's very good at podcasting. He's very good at talking and understanding and listening. That is a gift. Not a lot of people can openly talk and be that person. That is a gift that he has given you. So in that regard, with those gifts that we were given, we have to realize that we actually have that gift. Now, how do we use that to glorify God? So instead of me wasting all of that time trying to find a purpose that I didn't even realize I already had, I could have been fulfilling that purpose.
Man, I like that a lot, man. That is one that I will definitely write down and think about that. That is a good one for sure. So that's going to wrap up all the stuff that I wanted to talk about for our interview. The next couple of episodes, we're going to use our normal format, teaching and going back and forth with scripture and praying and challenge. But what I like to close out on my couch conversations is a little rapid fire questions. Don't think, just answer.
I don't like this.
Oh, I got a whole bunch. You
I don't like
ready?
this.
You ready? Coffee or energy drink?
Coffee.
Morning workout or evening workout?
Morning.
Cardio or lifting?
Lifting.
Protein shake or steak?
Steak.
Ooh, I thought you might say Harley or Sportster?
Harley.
Beach or mountain?
Beach.
Favorite cheat meal?
I don't know. I don't know. Cheesecake.
Oh,
Cheesecake.
yeah, there you go.
Cheesecake.
Favorite exercise?
Squats.
Least favorite exercise?
Squats.
Also squats. I knew you were going to say that. Hey, he missed leg day yesterday. Don't let him fool you.
Uh-huh.
Working too hard. Favorite Bible verse?
Ooh, Psalm 19:105.
Ooh, what's that?
Your word is a lamp for my feet
Oh, yeah,
and a
we know
light on
that
my
one.
path.
Yep. Didn't you have that on a
Well,
shirt?
there's a, I mean,
You
there's
had that on
couple
a shirt the
different-
other day. Yeah.
Oh, also, or actually, Samuel 1:3-9. I think I might jack that up, but speak, Lord, your servant is listening.
Nice. Favorite book of the Bible?
Ooh. I'm gonna have to say Deuteronomy.
Really?
Yeah.
Going with the Torah, going with the original 5, huh?
Yeah, it's just a lot of when I was going through bodybuilding, that one had a lot of hardcore verses in there that kind of pumped me up and got me through it.
Yeah, I like that. Favorite worship song right now?
Ooh. I'm coffee and Jesus.
Coffee and
Or
Jesus.
It's Jesus in my coffee.
Oh yeah? Okay, I'll check
Yeah.
that one out. Favorite Christian author or pastor? I mean, let's give you a free
That's
pass.
not
Let's
a
say
rapid fire
your
question.
favorite one is obviously Pastor James at our church, but Pastor James aside,
Honestly, I'm gonna say our group is my favorite pastor because
Ooh, I like that.
the heat that I get from you guys. When I say heat, I mean the God working through you guys is the best word that I get.
All right, look at him trying to get more brownie points. And what I would say is I've been really enjoying, there's a pastor out of Dallas named Josh Howerton, and I've been really enjoying listening to that guy recently. Runs a pretty big church out there. I think it's called Lake Point or Life Point or something like that. But all right, enough about me. Back to him. Favorite movie?
I'm not answering that.
What?
I can't answer that. There's millions of movies out there.
Oh, come on. No favorite?
I mean, I'm not gonna like gravitate towards a faith-based movie. I have 10 faith-based movies that I love. I have 10 Marvel movies I'm sure that I love. I mean, I
Okay.
love The Notebook, Jasmine. I actually do.
We already finished the Jasmine Brownie Point
Yeah.
section. You don't have to keep sucking up.
I don't spend as much with movies anymore, but I have a lot too many favorites to answer one.
Favorite food?
Like a category, like a
Pizza, steak, meat, pig. No, all
I'm
carnivore. Anything
I'm-
carnivore?
I eat everything.
Dogs or cats?
Dogs.
I
All
was
day.
gonna say I know the answer to that one. Which of your 4 wiener dogs causes the most trouble?
Titan.
Titan.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's he do?
Everything wrong.
What was your most painful tattoo body part you had?
Stomach.
The stomach.
Oh, 100% don't do it.
Okay. I do not have a stomach tat, and I won't do it.
I regret every second of it for the pain.
What is one thing on your bucket list that you have not done yet?
Well, I mean, to be honest, I haven't gone snowboarding. That would be pretty cool.
Snowboarding?
Yeah, I'm a sports guy. I've done everything besides snow activity like that.
Now, have you ever been up in the mountains in the snow and skiing or anything, or just...
Oh yeah, I've been up in the mountains hiking in the
Okay.
snow, hunting in the snow. Never done any good sports with it.
Okay. What, who's funnier, you or Jasmine?
Come
on. Oh.
Come on, John.
Okay, we're not answering that one, but that's
Me
a
all day.
wink, wink.
She
we
knows
know.
it.
Okay. Who spends more money, you or Jasmine?
Me, 100%. Me, 100%.
Gotcha. All right. Who's more likely to bring home another dog?
Jasmine.
Yeah, I knew that answer already when I
I'm
wrote
likely
that.
to get rid of one. Anybody want one? Let me know.
What is one word your friends would use to describe you? Now, before you answer that, I have a word in mind, and I
Alright,
want to
go.
see if they're right. What's your word?
Disciplined.
Dang it! That was what I was going to say. You were right. Discipline. That was the answer.
There's no. Everybody would say the same.
All right. Last question. and I'm going to keep this one PG because there's a funny answer to this one, but we're not going to answer that one. If Jesus Christ walked into this room here at the Hall Hotline studio in my upstairs game room right now, what is the first thing you'd ask him?
You're funny.
And you know the answer.
I know exactly what he was going to on that. Oh, man. Honestly, I would ask him, are you pleased with my works? Like,
Okay.
if I had to ask him a real question, am I doing what I'm supposed to? You know, like, obviously I want to know, like we talked before, I want to know what's in the future. Like, hey, am I going to get to see you later? Like, I don't need to know that. I want to know that I'm doing what I'm supposed to.
All right, I like it. So that concludes our rapid fire section.
Oof.
So I want to have 2 more questions. Number 1, is there anything we can be praying for you today?
Yeah, my niece ended up having to go to the hospital with another seizure. She's had some issues, but
sorry to hear that.
that'd be good.
Okay. And then, so on the Hall Hotline, we always wrap up each episode with today's challenge. So I want to give you the opportunity, catching you off guard here, so maybe, take a second if you need to. What is today's challenge you'd like to leave our listeners with?
This is going to be mine and yours. If you have a spouse, go home today after work, whatever it may be, and just give your spouse a hug and ask them if you can pray for them.
I like that.
As a man being vulnerable, it's difficult sometimes, but just walk right in and ask if they need you to pray for them.
All right, you guys heard that here first. That was today's challenge. Now, we always like to close by saying, stand firm and walk humbly with the Lord. And why do we do that? Well, that's the hallway. All right, well, thank you guys for listening today. And make sure to check out the rest of the episodes all week. We're going to be talking about letting go, fully surrendering, all that good stuff. Don't worry, I'll edit all that stuff out and in post-editing when I fix all my little flubs there.
Right.
I don't really have editing. I don't know how to do any of that.
Yeah, no mistakes.
Yeah, right? Perfect. One take, John. That's what I call it.
That's it.
All right. Thank you, guys.
Thanks, guys.
See ya.
Thank you for spending time with us today. If this conversation inspired, encouraged, or challenged you, share it with someone who loves Jesus and someone who doesn't yet. If you've enjoyed the show, please take a moment to leave us a 5-star review. Remember, stand firm in the truth and answer the phone when God calls.